These are my audience today. My daughter Emily, son Irvin, my little baby Noah, and my wife Julia. For my informative speech, I decided to talk about the topic of tariffs and trades in the U.S. How familiar are you when you hear about the talks of tariffs and trades between the U.S. and China? If you are familiar with it, are you against it or for the possible trade war that's going to happen between both countries? We'll begin by explaining to you what a tariff is and how it can affect you. A tariff is a tax that a government places on imported goods from another country. Though a tariff is not limited to imported goods, it can also be placed on exported goods as well. It's very rarely seen. So basically, anything coming into the country is considered import, anything coming out of the country is considered export. So, now when a tariff is placed on an imported item, it drives the cost of the material to go up, which would allow a similar domestic made product to become a reasonable price for the consumer because it's not being taxed. Though tariffs are nothing new and have been around since President George Washington signed the Tariff Act of 1789, which was the first law passed by the first Congress. This act was originally created to provide revenue for the federal government, but also protect the trade between the U.S. and other countries, which probably has you thinking why it's such a big topic lately in the news. The reason it's such a huge topic in the news lately is because the U.S. chose heavily tariff imports on China, whom is one of the world's largest economic countries and have many imports to offer. All these tariffs came into effect back in July of 2018 when President Trump imposed $34 billion worth of taxes on imports from China. China's main imports were X-ray machines, many industrial parts. They also do water boilers and airplane tires, which in return caused China to tariff stuff from the U.S., totaling a total of $34 billion as well. And that mainly revolved around cash crop goods such as soybeans, cotton, pork, vehicles, etc. But since the tariff was imposed by China and U.S., it has reached a total of $360 billion worth of goods that are imported or taxed. $250 billion that the U.S. imposed on China, and $110 billion that China has imposed on the U.S. This is a substantial increase since July of 2018 and is expected to go up as we progress with what many people are calling the world's largest trade war. So with having the U.S. impose heavy tariffs on China, we're trying to stimulate the growth of the economy, but that doesn't always seem to be the case. In some instances, a tariff can cause the material to go up in price due to the factory trying to compensate or cover the cost and pay less to make the product affordable for consumers. There are many factors in which tariff can affect the country and its economic growth. The entire purpose for all the tariffs was to return work and allow the U.S. to create manufacturing opportunities for products that were hard for companies to drive when imported materials were substantially cheaper. I'm a firm believer with creating jobs that allow the U.S. to keep products domestic, though I do not agree with there being no regulation on how the domestic company can charge for their products or service. For instance, when President Trump first imposed tariffs on steel and aluminum, we saw a substantial increase in cost of steel, and steel mills in the U.S. had no regulation on what they could charge for material and were increasing their prices substantially and periodically. I'm not sure as to why the reasons the mill had to do so. It had made no sense even with the U.S. not shipping material overseas due to many countries trying to use that as a negotiation tactic. And it seemed as if there were no end to the steel increases from the mills. Therefore, if the government were to imply a max price or increase allowed to charge per domestic product, I think the economy would get a substantial boost. But this is all speculation, and there are many unknown factors that I do not know. I believe that the U.S. and China need to come to an agreement and look towards further progressing their economy while helping others grow as well. With both countries imposing heavy tariffs on each other, they're blindly missing why countries trade. Trades make a country rich, and restrictions make a country poor. Thank you.